What's up, guys? So today I got this on a Black Friday deal, 30% off. It's the Napa brand 12-volt compressor. It's called Maxitrax heavy duty 12-volt air compressor. The duty cycle is 75%, 15 minutes on, 5 minutes off, 1.5 horsepower twin piston direct drive motor. Comes with an 8-meter rubber hose, which is super handy. I mean, it's like 24 feet. I can hook it up to my car and air up my buddy's car's tires. I got this for off-road use, but it's also great for going to the track, drift events, car meets, whatever, where you got to be adjusting tire pressure or might have a flat tire. You never know. Unplug it in one of these, you can get back on the road in no time. So I have opened it up, but I'm going to go ahead and open it up for you and show you what's inside. You open it up, generally there's some foam on top, but it comes with your big rubber hose, which is sweet. It is the one downfall I don't like about it is the connection isn't a standard compressor connection, so you can't just hook up an extra extension hose. Kind of inconvenient, but 25 feet of hose, you really don't need the extra. Built-in pressure gauge. So while you're airing up, the pressure gauge reads the pressure going into the tire. But when you shut the compressor off, this reads your tire pressure, which is super handy. You don't need an extra gauge in the car. I thought it was awesome. So now digging a little deeper, we've got our compressor. Voltage 12 to 14 volts, max pressure 150 psi, amperage 90 amps. It does kind of draw a lot of amps. These cables, they're pretty thick, and honestly they're pretty high quality. Everything here, I was astounded with the quality. If you didn't know, I paid less than $100 for this. I paid $88 shipped to my door on Black Friday. It was 30% off. If you're a AAA member, you get 10% off at Napa all the time, and these things retail at about $125, give or take. It comes with a few different attachments. What we got here? We got like a little blower chuck thing, basketball inflator, and a little bit bigger of a blower chuck thing. So those are cool to have on the trail. You get some dust in a place that doesn't need to be, brakes, gotta do a spark plug, whatever. Trail repairs or track repairs. I've actually hooked this up to this, and it's a gnarly little, it pumps some air, I'll tell you that. And then last but not least, carrying bag for all this junk. You can put all this in here, don't have to worry about it. Throw it in the back of the car, good to go. So upon initial inspection, I think this is well built. It is not light. It's not super heavy, but I mean, I'd rather it be heavier than lighter, in my opinion. I want a quality product that's made of steel. I think, yeah, every piece of this besides, no, this housing right here is the only plastic piece, and like the handle. But the handle's even held on with metal, and it's got a metal rod, so that won't break. So that's super neat. It's bolted to this base plate, but it also has an option to take it off and bolt it wherever you might need it, whether it's under the hood, in the back of your car, under the car. I'm not sure where you want to mount it, but I'm just going to keep mine mobile. I switch cars a lot, switch rigs a lot, all that good stuff. I'm going to go ahead and see if I have a battery around here. I don't think I do, so let's just go ahead and jump into airing up some tires. I've got a few sets of tires, a passenger car tire, like 31-inch truck tire, 33-inch truck tire, and then a 35-inch 12.5 wide truck tire. We're going to go ahead and see how fast it takes to air all those up. So let's quit talking. Let's go air some tires up. All right, guys. So here we have a 225 50 16-inch car passenger tire. It's completely flat. It's been flat for a couple months now. Got quite a few cars here that have flat tires, which honestly, this thing's awesome. I just bring out a battery. I don't have to run 200 feet of cord out for my main compressor. So I've actually used this in the last 5 days a ton. And I did want to use it a little bit before I did a review. And I think I've used it enough to justifiably say that I do like this compressor. But this is for you guys and your opinion. So I'm going to go ahead and get this compressor going and get it hooked up and see how long it takes to get this thing to 35 psi. So let's get the compressor hooked up. Let's get the stopwatch out. And I will start the clock in 3, 2, 1. right, 30 seconds in, we're at 20 PSI. So let's see what it takes to get 35. I hear this thing leaking, so this probably isn't the best comparison, but we're at 20 PSI in 29.94 seconds. So that's pretty good. So let's get it up to 35 and see how long it takes. We're at 55 seconds and we have actually surpassed our 35 PSI mark. We are at 36.5 PSI. So I think that's great. 55 seconds, under a minute, car's up to 36, 37 PSI. Alright guys, so we're over here with the 235 75 15 tire. I do have a very annoying barking neighbor dog, so hopefully I can keep my voice low enough that he doesn't bark when I'm talking. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and as you can see, 0 PSI. This thing is flat. My dogs have peed on the tire. Gotta love guide dogs. But we're gonna see what it takes at 30 seconds where it's at, and then what it takes to get 35 PSI. So let's go ahead and turn this thing on. And 1, 2, 3. Alright, so 30 seconds, we are at 12.5 PSI. So let's go ahead and see what it takes. Alright, so at 1 minute, we're up to 30 PSI. That's what I run in my Toyotas, but I told you I was going to test them to 35, so let's see what's going on. Alright, we are successfully at 35 PSI, 1 minute, 10 seconds. For a 235 75 15. I am thoroughly impressed with this compressor already. The motors are slightly warm, barely warm to the touch, and we just aired up that tire and this tire within a matter of 5 minutes. So let's move on to the next size up and see what happens. Cross side. All right. So here we are with a 295 70 18. I think this is a 34-inch tire. We'll get to the 33. Oh, we already got to the 33. Who am I kidding? All right, guys. So this is a 295 70 18, and it doesn't look as flat as the others, I promise. But this is our deflator, and there is nothing coming out of it. It's a load range E with a very light vehicle on it. So believe it or not, this is 0 PSI. So anyway, we are going to go ahead. I've got the gauge. And it reads 0, so I wouldn't lie to you guys. So we're going to go ahead and pull out the stopwatch, see what happens at 30 seconds, 1 minute, and see how long it takes to get 35. So 1, 2, 3, start. Alright, 30 seconds in. Still reading 0. Well, if the gauge breaks on the review, I'm not going to be super stoked. But I have a hard time believing this is 0 PSI. Let's just see what happens after a minute, I guess. We're at 1 minute now. And we are registering. Okay, that was quite a bit slower than I anticipated. 1 minute, and this tire is at 12.5 PSI. So we're gonna just go ahead and go all the way to the minute 45 mark. So I think that's gonna be right around 35, hopefully. Minute 45, and we're now at 25 PSI. So, and mind you, I am using the same battery on all of these tests, so this battery is getting worn down. But we are at a minute 45, 25 PSI. That's still not bad for a 34-inch tire. So let's go ahead and get it up to 35, like I said, and see what happens. All right, we're at 2 minutes and 20 seconds. and we're at 33 PSI, so let's get it to 35. All right, we're at 2.5 minutes on the dot, and we're at 34 PSI, so let's just keep going. Another 5 seconds, we're at 35 PSI, so 2 minutes and 35 seconds to 295, 70, 18 up from flat to 35 PSI. Now let's move on to the next tire. All right, guys, so we are on our 4th tire. We aired up the passenger car tire, small truck tire, the 34-inch tire, and this is a 265, 75, 16, so about a 33, I think. Yeah, like 32, I think. We're on the same battery that wasn't fully charged when we started, so it's probably down to 11 volts. Probably not optimal performance, but we're gonna go ahead and just air up. We got this and a 315 7017 to air up. So we're just gonna get these two aired up, all off one battery, and see how it does. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll get the timer out. Reset. 1, 2, 3, go. 30 seconds. No register. We're now at 1 minute. 12.5 PSI. Seems to be pretty consistent, at least. 2 minutes, 30 PSI. Pretty consistent with the last tire. 2 minutes, 25 seconds. Wow, we're right on the nose at 35 PSI. So 2 minutes, 25 seconds, 265, 75, 16-inch tire. Aired up to 35 from absolutely flat. So, woo, ricer. Anyway, wow. Let's move on to the last tire, and that's a 315 7017. All right, guys, this is our 5th and final tire for this review, test, open box video, whatever you want to call it. So we're gonna get our stopwatch out one more time. This is a 315 7017. But we're gonna go ahead, air this bad boy up. We're gonna start the stopwatch now and see 30 seconds, 1 minute, and probably 2 minutes after that. So let's go ahead and start. All right, 30 seconds in, no register. Go figure. We're 1 minute in now. We are only reading about 8 PSI, so this one's definitely going to take a little bit longer. Alright, at this point I audibly hear the compressor getting weaker from the battery losing its power. So, we're 2 minutes in, and we're still at 21 PSI. So, battery's getting weaker. The compressor's duty cycle is ramping up. I've done all of this in about the span of 30 minutes. So let's go ahead and get this thing to 35 and see what it takes. We're about 21 right now. 3 minutes. We're at 31 PSI. And you can hear the audible difference of the power of this thing, because obviously it's not making as much power as it was as the battery's dying. So let's get it to 35 though. It's 35 as it's gonna get. So that took 3.5 minutes for a 35, 12, 5, 15 on. I will check the voltage of this battery just to show you guys. This is the battery I've been using. It's an Optima yellow top. They're deep cycle batteries, so I don't mind running it a little low. I probably ran it lower than I should have, but it is what it is. 3.5 minutes for a 315 7017, absolutely flat to 35 PSI with probably 10 volts instead of the 12 it's recommended. So let's go inside, test this battery, and I'll give my final thoughts on this thing. So let's head over. Alright guys, so I did check the voltage of the battery. It was like 11.7 volts, which does a lot to I don't like this. But overall, my final thoughts on this compressor are, it's freaking awesome. I would definitely recommend you buying it, air all the tires up in a timely manner, even with a battery that's not running off an alternator, which I think is super impressive. Everything seems to be real high quality. I've used it a few times, 10, 12 now, and I think it's awesome. So let me know what you think. If you have one of these compressors, if you'd recommend it, or if you've had something awful go wrong with it, I'd love to hear. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hit that like button, that subscribe button if you want to see more of this, and if not, well, sorry, I wasted your time. So have a good day, guys. See you later.